I forgot to push record on the video. So,
geez.
hey, welcome to the Film Vault. I'm Anderson. There's Bryan over there. Clean open.
You missed Anderson's leader for the Vaulties for 2024 is Dune Part 2.
It is not.
So far.
It is, actually.
So far
it's top 5.
100% true. All right, so where are we going? Where are we at? What's up? What's happening? Go ahead.
People thought their recording stopped. Let's hear from the listeners. Yeah, I got to assume there's some Dune takes.
Fanfliction compiled by...
Oh, please, carry on.
Mike Cole.
I was going to say we have a lot of engagement amongst the listeners. I can't wait to hear what they're seeing and saying. So
Yes. Starting off with Alicia Weldon.
By the way, sorry I'm interrupting you, Grant. Thanks, Mike Cole, for pitching in even more than you normally do. You do a great job keeping the gambling stats and now helping out with the listener flictions.
Yes, we have a big announcement to make. I don't know why we're not doing that right here, right now. So Mitch Burns, no longer part of the program.
R.I.P.
He finally got offended with something Bryan told him off air, and he's like, I can't be a part of this show. Yeah.
Like I would talk to anyone from the show off the air.
So he let us know that, he wisely is stepping away from the brand. He did so much work for the show week in, week out.
Yes.
And Mitch is hanging him up. He took over for Jordan Wolf way back in the day. And we began
Jordan Wolf. I hadn't thought about that guy in a long time.
And Jordan Wolf's good. So a number of people came to the forefront and came to the surface and said, hey, we would like to help. We'd like to be a part of this. And we really appreciate what Mitch did for the show. And
well, Mitch is irreplaceable. We would like to help fill the gap.
So we replaced him with not one, not two, but 3 separate
three-headed monster
people. So we got Mike Cole doing the fanfliction over here, which we're about to hear from Mike Cole. So welcome to the family, Mike Cole. You're already part of the family a little bit. We got the Goose. We got Peter Guzlik. He's doing the tallying for the listener top 5 each week. And then we have how do you even say who Drake is or what he does? Like Drake is the maestro of the
he's the
trio.
Svengali.
He is, and he's in charge.
Pulling the strings.
He's got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that are going to help us with the social media to make your social engagement with the program all that more enjoyable.
I was going to say, if you follow us on social media, if you're aware of our whatever presence, you probably noticed a difference in the past week. There's been a lot of stuff posted, a lot of, frankly, better stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those being posted, but Drake's helping take it to a new level. You know what I mean? The
Elevating.
and there you go, animations and things look like their work's done.
And then we got Eric Caff, Cyber Manor himself, who's been doing the video for a while, and I still we gotta get in touch, Eric. We will be speaking soon, but one of the vital instruments within this machine that is the Film Vault week in, week out is the video content, which Eric has been doing a phenomenal job at.
A lot of gears to this machine.
Yeah, so I think maybe the best thing that could have ever happened to the show was Mitch to step down. Because, I mean, here we are.
In a weird way. I mean, because like it knocked us into taking action.
Mitch did such a great job, and we were like panicking, like how are we going to replace Mitch? And then we thought we had the grand idea, not 1, not 2, but 3 separate people. So Mitch is happier.
Whole team.
I'm going to miss Mitch, but he's still going to be a part of the program. I'm sure he's running the poll this year. I think he's going to do the Oscar poll every year.
Oh, nice.
Pool. Yeah. But no, I was joking, Mitch. Of course, family member of the show.
I think you're onto something though. Like Mitch was so good at what he did, we relied on him too much. You know what I mean? It kind of slowed us down, at least for me. You know, I was like, Mitch has got it. He's got to take it.
We had the single point of failure, which is dangerous in engineering.
Indeed, and he did a great job. So we just cruised along.
We did cruise along, and then we got some fresh blood.
The oars are in the water.
He's like the veteran, the veteran who's been in the league for a long time. He knows what he's doing, right? And he's retiring, and now we got this.
He's out of the starting lineup, but he's coming off the bench to provide some important minutes.
Mitch, you'll be missed, but I know you're not going anywhere. You're still gonna be a part of the show. So, all right, let's get to the Fanfliction, brought to us by Mike Cole.
Fanfliction compiled by Mike Cole. Alicia Weldon on Instagram saw Dune Part 2. Wow! What a spectacle! The use of sound is so immersive, the costumes unreal, the locations are breathtaking. Top-notch performances all across the board. Villeneuve created a fully realized world that always leaves you wanting more. I was ready for Part 2 the moment Part 1 ended. I think everyone was. And I felt the same way here. Cannot wait to see it again.
Wow.
Christopher Bennett on Facebook saw Dune Part 2. I thought it was shot beautifully. Music was powerful, acting was good, story was a little hard to follow. Overall, I enjoyed it and would give it 2 sniffs. Katie Zolars on Instagram. Dune Part 2 was amazing. But my movie highlight this weekend was showing my kids the Time After Time dance from Romeo and Michelle.
Yes.
What is happening?
Oh, that's iconic cinema history right there.
I'm pretty high on Romeo and Michelle. Pretty enjoyable.
You
Yeah.
need to all
It's
get
a
out of
great
here.
movie. I don't know why you wouldn't be. You'd be a fool to be anything but high on it.
My ex gave me quite a bit of shit for enjoying it more than she did.
Kick her to the curb.
She liked it, but I loved it.
She's gone, Brian.
Do you want to guess? She kicked herself to the curb.
That's
Kicked
right.
herself out of the state.
She's like, I can't hang with these three. It's
Can't do
me,
it?
Romeo, and
Wait, she
Michelle.
broke up with you, then moved out of the state?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. 'Cause instead
Yeah.
of just saying, "Hey, honey, I'm moving out of state. Sorry, this
No,
isn't going
no,
to work."
I gotta go.
She was so broken by the loss. She's like, I have nowhere to go.
It
but
was the
out of
loss
here.
that she decided to
Yeah,
lose.
It
Exactly.
was a conscious uncoupling.
It was a what?
Conscious uncoupling.
Mm-hmm.
FET score for Dune, we want to guess.
Oh,
Part
it's
2.
It's got to be 90%.
12 reviews.
It might be 12 for 12, honestly. And
I'm going to say 100.
100.
100%.
There you go.
100% across the board. Skadoosh it on Reddit. Saw Spaceman, now streaming on Netflix. It's a story of grief and regret and giant spiders or something. I don't know. It was that. I don't know. It wasn't that entertaining. The acting by Adam Sandler was good. The script was just boring.
Adam Sandler's in a movie called Spaceman.
They
Yes.
gave him carte blanche to make whatever he wants whenever he wants. Yes.
Oh, all
And
right.
Dano was in it. The cast looks good, but the reviews
right.
do not. At Not Listener X on X saw Spaceman.
It's really throwing us off the scent.
This is a top 5.
I'm not listener X.
Top 5 most confusing movie. Still not sure what the movie was about, but man, it was pretty to look at. And lastly, Travis Olgan on Instagram. I had to discuss the concepts of heaven and hell to my 10-year-old kid via Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
She absolutely loved it.
How old is the kid?
10.
That's about right. I got no problem with that.
Good, Brian. We're all happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good parenting.
Hey, everyone's looking good, by the way. You looking good, Brian?
Thanks.
You look good.
Yeah.
Avery, you always look good.
Thank you.
I started my my workout program
Yeah.
yesterday.
What is that, like a pinky, like a finger?
I got to start somewhere. You start small and you start with achievable goals.
What's your workout schedule like?
It's a cancer recovery program through a hospital.
Uh-huh.
I go to Cedars-Sinai Hospital.
So is that a lot of like? I'm imagining the big boss that looks like Kingpin in Dune. They're submerging you in water.
It looks like Kingpin and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
These
was
giant balls.
I was watching the catch up, the Dune crammed Dune YouTube to make sure that I had some
sure.
footing.
Which is necessary. You will not remember shit if you didn't do any sort of
What's that say about the
homework.
movie though, Avery? I
it's
remember
dense.
very little about Dune 1 other than it was a spectacle.
He put his hand in something.
Well, that's the first one too.
Yes,
and
yeah,
then
you said June 1.
no, I'm talking about like the first Dune.
Yeah.
Like David Lynch's Dune.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that.
Yeah. No, I did not watch. No, I watched Dune, the cram of Dune 1, Villeneuve's Dune 1 from a couple of years ago in preparation. And, of course, Atticus had to wonder, what are you watching, Daddy? Why is Willy Wonka in this creepy movie, Daddy? What's going on?
Why is one all having knives?
But I forget where I was going with that. But
You watched the catch up. You
I watched the
crammed,
catch up. Yeah,
and
which
you
is
remember
necessary.
nothing from the first one. And then the David Lynch's Dune.
No, you guys brought in David Lynch. Well, I brought it. Okay,
No,
whatever.
I did not.
I kept saying there was another. When I said the box was in the first one, that was in David Lynch's Dune.
I didn't know
It would have been Jaredinski's Dune.
Jarodowski's.
Jaredowski's
Wait.
Dune as well. You see that documentary?
No.
Jodorowsky.
Jodorowsky's. You got to watch that Jodorowsky's Dune.
Might have to.
Yeah,
The documentary's really good. Yeah.
it is.
I
Well,
stand
there was.
by it. I didn't care about Dune at all, and I found the documentary fascinating.
It was fascinating. Yeah. All right, so I can't remember. I was watching the cramming, and
You got crammed.
Atticus watched.
You remember
it,
nothing
came
you
in.
could because you wanted to get footing, so we got footing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad I did.
Daddy,
If you're
why
not-
does the cast look like Brian?
there was some of that?
They're the heroes.
There's some bold hate speech in that film.
I thought the jokes about the Galarian head was like it's kind of hackney.
Hateful.
to shave
what I mean?
Elvis's head
Hateful.
like that.
All right, do you want to get to the big, the sexy?
They massacred your boy.
the Dune.
Dune Part 2 was seen by us. Well, let me get my notes. Hold on, right here. Directed by, for years I believe I've been pronouncing Denis Villeneuve wrong as Dennis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Now every time I see a behind the scenes with Brolin or whoever about some Villeneuve project, he just refers to him as Denis. So I think this French Canadian fellow goes by Denis Villeneuve. This is my thing with people that I admire. I often mispronounce their names. Dune 2.
He's
Part 2.
talking Michael Bean. We call Michael
yeah,
Bain.
That happened.
His #1 man crush for decades.
That's the most shameful moment of my life.
And when he called him Michael Bain to his face when he was our guest on the show,
This hurts so bad.
it was pretty delightful to watch Michael Bain have to correct Bryan.
He was very gentle about it, but it was crushing.
Embarrassing.
Very hurtful. 2024 film directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Might have done right.
93% Rotten Tomatoes. This is in theaters now. Yes, I was aware of the Rotten Tomatoes score after Avery revealed it at the time. It was 97 or something.
Yes.
It was very high. Starring
You got it, buddy.
Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, the aforementioned Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh. Was Florence Pugh in the first movie?
No.
Okay. Florence Pugh.
Yeah, we're gonna rely on Avery for this kind of thing because Avery went back and watched the first one
In IMAX. Glorious IMAX.
Christopher Walken, Léa Seydoux, and Sohela. Why did I write this down? Sohelia Yacoub. I don't know why I wrote that down.
Now, I know this is sophomoric, and I hesitate to even say it, but every time I see Seydoux, I can't. I don't like that it happens because she's in serious films.
Sure.
But in my head, I hear a little boy voice saying, "I saw her butthole," and it bugs me. It bugs me, and it takes me out of the moment.
Drop.
So did Austin Butler in this.
Oh, that's right. They had relations.
Oh, I don't know if he saw her butthole. Maybe they did it in the dark.
I don't know.
But going back to blue,
If I know about the Harkonnens, I don't know if that's.
Blue is the warmest color. Where I feel like she was exploited. That was the first time I think I ever saw Seydoux was her in that.
I've never actually seen that movie.
Bright fluorescent sex, numerous sex scenes with all the fluorescence on. Felt like a cheap porn set at times. Yes, you haven't seen that. Blue is the warmest color. A lesbian film made by a man. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Appropriation.
This is what men think of lesbians, and that's pretty much what the movie was. Critics loved it, though. They're like, "Oh my God, it's the next coming." All right, here we go.
Now, let me say, based on your pre-thoughts on this movie that you expressed moments ago, okay, I have a problem. I don't
care.
More appropriately, I don't get Dune. I don't get the love. I was confused as to why people liked the David Lynch movie. I was confused about all of it. And upon leaving this movie, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I said as much. I'm like, what is it with Dune? Why do people love Dune? And he goes, well, number one, it's a great book. I'm like, all right, fair enough. He's like, number two, it was very ahead of its time. Like Star Wars bit off it quite a bit, apparently, according to this guy. And it's very influential in sci-fi. So I think that Dune, given the time and place and impact of the original novel, people love it. I am not familiar with the novel, so thus I am left with these films.
And he also, it's weird. He doesn't do a ton of description of the surroundings or what you're seeing. A lot of it is like the lore and the dialogue. So it's one of the harder books I've read to imagine what things look like, unlike something like Lord of the Rings, where it's pretty clear.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people enjoy the gaps being filled
But
in.
the book, you've read the book. The book is good?
Yes. The book is very good.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's a beloved book, and thus I don't share the pre-love for this that a lot of people do. That said, Dune Part 2. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the good. I heard it's a bit of...
Can I jump on and say, okay,
Sure.
So what my take on Dune is I've thought this for quite some time, and I have a complicated relationship with Dune, okay? Because the first time I ever saw it was I was way too young. So David Lynch's Dune in the theaters with my dad. He would drag me to all sorts of movies that I had no interest in, but he wanted a friend, I guess. And it was a very hot summer night in Westwood. I've told this story before. We sat in the balcony, sold out, bunch of like Dune/Lynch fans in the 80s sometime. And no air conditioning. The air conditioning broke in the movie house, so I was sweltering.
It feels appropriate.
I remember the movie was like also very like hot and dry and just uncomfortable.
It's immersive.
It's the 4D.
And then we love the Villeneuve, right? He's the master of spectacle. When I heard he was taking on Dune, I was like, do we need more Dune in our lives? I mean, who needs Dune? And my idea of Dune has always been like it's for the nerds who feel like Star Wars is beneath them and they need something more realistic.
Oh, this is elevated sci-fi.
It's elevated sci-fi for sure, right? And I think that people feel, I don't want to start.
It's actually, according to my rule, not science fiction at all. Okay.
Oh, Christ, not this again. I don't want the emails because they send me the emails, Brian, about how wrong you are. They think that I'm going to enjoy them.
It's pure fantasy.
I do, but I don't have time to enjoy them. All right, so that's kind of my take on Dune. Now, also, it should be known that I don't really go for these kinds of things. Like with, I think I'm one of the only people that I know who didn't completely fall in love with the House of Dragons precursor. What was it called? Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Game of Thrones. I like Game of Thrones. I watched it with everyone.
The House of Dragons prequel.
Precursor. My wife loved the Game of Moans, as I call it, because of all the sex scenes. But I really did not give a fuck about the warring parties. It was hard to keep track of like the different war. Like if it was an actual story that happened, like, or if it was some historical thing. I know it's based on history, but like if I was actually learning something, the way Stern put it, I remember him saying like if this actually based on something real and I could bring it up at a dinner party to seem smart, I'd like it. And I'm like I'm kind of in the same camp. I don't really care about your fake flags flying, and I'm not. So there's a lot of that in this.
When I saw Dune in college for the first time, the Lynch version, I was like the old man in Defending Your Life when they view the past lives, and he's like a little girl by their dolly. Like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this?
Oh, watching. That's a very obscure reference that you just made, Brian.
But I had the same reaction.
Okay, so you're confused, is what you're saying.
I was confused
and upset?
why people liked
incensed?
Not incensed, confused. I think confused is the best.
Okay, let's talk about the good. Is that you want to do that? You want to start with the good?
I've been told, maybe by you, I forget who it was, that it's a bit of a cheat these days to say, movie looks good. Every movie looks good. That said, this movie looked really good.
It looked really good.
Really, there was like some sweeping spectacle. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of why you go to the movies, to see things you otherwise would not see, or if you saw on TV, they'd be frankly underwhelming.
What I'm going to try and do here is sell people on who have not seen this. They're on the fence whether or not they should go see this. Maybe it's not for them, or I think that I would like to get people into the theater to see this one. If you're on the fence, this is absolutely
you have to see this movie.
There's of the 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's about an hour and 20 minutes or so that's just like holy shit. My chair felt like a Sibian, like throughout most of it. I saw it in Dolby, and it was just. I mean, there was rumbling where I felt nauseous at one point because my entire chest cavity was like rumbled for a long, extensive periods of time.
It was like the paddles.
It felt like that, yeah. Like if someone's having a heart attack in another theater, you bring them into the Dune theater and you push them up against the seat because there was a lot of rumbling. I felt like I was on one of those fat things in the 60s with the belt, and they just jiggle. It does nothing. Like it felt like that, but it's iconography porn at times. It's spectacle porn for sure.
Oh yeah,
it is just spectacle.
It's on a grand scale.
You feel the largeness of these things.
The
largesse, and I loved all of the evil side of the Dune world.
Yeah. That's when it sings. When Austin Butler shows up, I wanted just Austin Butler going around.
Even before that, whenever they're and all of the H.R. Giger imagery, which is still highly visible in this movie, as it was with the David Lynch version. Like H.R. Giger had, you see that in Jarodinsky's. I hope I'm saying that right. Jarodowski's Dune. Like, I love me some good H.R. Giger creep large scale stuff, and
their white and red displays were so great. Just in the Harkonnen ships when they're watching the spice production, all that. It's great.
Digital.
But I'm talking about the large. Just their tents are so H.R. Gigian, right? Like where they're blowing up their tents. I loved all that stuff.
I could have used more like stuff with how Christopher Walken's character figured in as the Emperor or whatever he was. Like I could have used more like political, maneuvering.
He's sort of like that in the book, where he's sort of a non-factor and a figurehead.
I like the Florence Pugh character could have served as both, you know what I mean, her and him. Anyway, I'm editing in real time.
Ultimately, I don't know if it was really that confusing. It was just like 3 or 4 different warring parties, and there's good guys, and there's bad guys.
There's a lot to keep straight though, because the language and the terminology used in this is way more opaque than Star Wars. It's way
Yeah.
easier to remember, the Force, and he's a Jedi, than like the Jam Gabar and the Lisan al Gaib. It's very...
This is like the adult version of like
Yes.
Star Wars. Like I was telling Atticus that I had to go see, and he's like, "Would I like it?" I'm like, "You'd be bored stiff."
There was a lot of terminology to keep up.
A lot of terminology.
You'd like parts of it, but
but
not the
all
talking.
that all that said, I do not care at all about. It goes rom-com to like the best parts of like Fury Road. To it's just a romantic movie.
Yes.
Like, I don't give a shit about those two. I don't care at all.
Let's get back to what's good. Javier Bardem was good.
He was killing it in the theater.
I found him funny.
Now he was doing like an Arab guy, right?
I think he was just doing Javier Bardem. I don't know.
I took the whole thing to be very Middle Eastern, very Mediterranean, if you will. But that's it. I thought he was great.
He was
It was
fantastic.
enjoyable.
Did you get caught up? And this isn't a good or bad. Well, it's a bad thing, I guess. Is like with the world building. Like, I kept getting caught up and very distracted with. Okay, well, who makes these things? Like, who makes these? Like, where are the plants that make these giant things? Even a little like thumper to bring the worms in. Like, where are they getting those?
I
things?
was thinking
where are
about
they
that.
created?
Are they manufacturing themselves?
Who's
Do they have
maintaining?
smelting machines?
Do they have smelting machines? Where's the food? Like every now and again, you see someone gnawing on a bone, but like, did they go out and hunt? Where? It's just vast nothingness with tons of people. Like I was distracted with
That's a
like,
good question
how do
because
they sustain themselves?
They did a little bit of that in the first one where they go through some farming silo or something like that, where they show you that a little bit of them farming underground. But I think some of that you have to sort of suspend disbelief or go, this is the least interesting part we could focus on.
What
Probably.
was
Is how they make the tech. But that's one of my issues too. And a part I had issues with in the book was, in the book it's very, there's these Bedouins.
book.
But it's like, there's these Bedouin tribesmen, and they have this insane technology, and he does not do a good job of reconciling that for me with the description or me being able to imagine it. So
Yeah.
this helped, and I think Denis kind of cheat coded it by just making it a similar aesthetic, which did help bridge that gap for me in terms of the thumper and the stuff that they used.
Ultimately, for me to love this movie, though, I need to care about the good side a little bit more than I do, and I don't really at all. Like,
Yeah.
and sorry guys, and this really shows my true colors, I guess, but how little I care about Dune. I thought this was it. I didn't know that they're setting up for a third.
It's a trilogy, yeah.
The final line of the movie is like, the blood war has begun. I'm like, what?
Again?
That's a part 3?
I didn't know. I don't think. I mean, it's in development. It's not like they started shooting it. They better hurry because Walken's not going to make it.
No, it's a delay. It's set 8 years in the future. They do a time jump, which is
so
why
Walken
Denis
won't be
waiting.
around. Okay. Oh, I think he needs everyone to like grow up a little.
So
Yeah.
they're going to digitally capture Walken?
I think he'll be
Just in
gone.
case.
I mean, the Emperor's not looking too good now. So 8 years from now, I don't know if the Emperor's still supposed to be around anyways. I don't know. There weren't like those satisfying moments. It's the grandeur. Like what the sell
Yes.
here is the grandeur.
And the production design. And the
Production
sound design is unbelievable.
but the story I don't really care about at all.
At the risk of sounding even more like a simpleton, this is where Star Wars got it a little more right. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Jesus.
In that they made it palatable to people who wouldn't normally care. You know what I mean? It's the grand hero's journey. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this is
Yes.
a little more granular, I guess.
Now, it might sound like I'm being impossible because I don't like it when the movies are too, broad.
Spoon fed.
And I don't, but also like I want it to be interesting and maybe challenge me a little bit more so that I'm really engaged. And I can't believe that people are engaged with the good side and caring and rooting for the good side, because there's like none of that in here for me, where it's like, yeah, got him. Fuck yeah, I love this side and I hate that side. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, and really, aside from Javier Bardem and maybe Brolin, Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson and Timothy Chalamet are not very charismatic
No,
in this
they're not.
movie.
No.
And I know they're
defy-
capable of being, because
I
I've seen them in
defy
other
anyone-
movies where they
I
are.
defy anyone who's not a huge fan to remember a line of dialogue they said they would quote or that stuck with you in some way. Like they're just going through the motions a little bit.
That's what it felt like. It did feel that way. It felt like a Christopher Nolan movie in some ways.
It was heartless.
Yeah, it does feel heartless and cold.
Which is why, the weakest part for me was their relationship. I didn't buy the turn.
And they just have her being sourpuss half the time, and she's
Oh,
such
no,
a
she
great
got
actress, and
angry
she
at the
does
end.
so many things with her face. But they have her just being sourpuss, not trusting, and angry
But
a lot of the time.
She turned angry at the end for what? Why?
Well, I mean, we gotta.
Well, that's
makes
quite
sense. Simple why she got angry, but we got to do a spoiler on that if you want to do that.
Right.
But it was weird to me where it felt like.
Why was she mad? Brian, it's right there. What the fuck?
But it was weird to me where in the lead up she's giving him shit and she's like,
I
"Oh,
feel
you're just
I'm worried for Christy if you're confused as to what.
The Florence Pugh.
God,
I just said Florence Pugh.
he's impossible. He's impossible.
She's in the film.
He's impossible.
she's
You're impossible.
she's in the film." I loved Austin Butler in this. I think maybe one of my favorite scenes was the arena when they're in there. And the black and white, and they're underneath the eclipse, and he's fighting with these.
Yeah, sure. That was
guys.
a spectacle, but that
was very cool.
Even then, I was like, give me a creature or two. Maybe it's just the frankness in me. Maybe I'm just too small.
I think you like creatures, and you
love
want
the
more creatures.
They're talking about the big centipedes and the little centipedes.
The worms were cool.
Worms are cool, but even like I was like when he's riding the worm, and they're like sitting up there watching on the dune, and like. You know how many miles he would have gone by the time he actually got set up? And he was still like right by them. I'm like, that's bugging me. Like, have the worm turn around or something. The worm riding like trains, like bullet trains in Japan kind of was silly.
I liked it. I think they explained it.
Yeah?
Yeah, the way they latched him down. And I thought they made it as believable as you could.
I mean, how are the worms moving? There's not even any like twitching or undulating. They're just shooting straight forward. That kind of thing bugs me a little
Well, that's how you know you can ride them, because you know the route they're
Like, what's propelling them forward? Do they have little legs underneath or something?
Oh, I see.
I don't think so.
We don't know.
There's no wiggling. There's no
like a
undulating.
snake,
Oh my god, the cringe when they were like doing the.
They must have like paddle-like legs.
I don't think so, because we saw the
Big.
baby one. We see the baby one, and there's no paddle-like legs there, right? I don't know about that noise. What are you, Harvey Bardem in the desert over there, calling to stop?
That's right.
Oh no, it's gone again.
Come on, buddy.
All right.
Some of the coolest fetus shots I've ever seen in my life.
Some very effective fetus shots.
She talks a lot for a fetus. Can you imagine
Right.
when she's born? How much that?
If
girl's
fourth
gonna
thing has
talk.
taught us anything, is that the younger they are, the brain, the less they can communicate. Yeah. Pretty sure it's based on fact.
Okay. I didn't realize that. So yeah, I had something else to say about the worms, but I guess that's it. And yeah. It's a spectacle. I just wish that it was a little more for me. I don't know if it's made for me.
And I will say, I don't know if you agree, I think overall this is a good movie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
say it's bad, but
Very
it's
good
just easy, everyone.
Honestly, though, I think I was less impressed with like a movie like The Creator, but there was more for me to follow along and enjoy and feel. Like I just didn't feel with this movie.
Yeah, I didn't feel, but I really enjoyed what I was seeing.
Yeah,
I loved
me
every
too.
moment when no one was talking. It was singing for
Like
me.
if there was some kind of event that you could go to, like I'm thinking Vegas or something, where two of those big Caterpillar construction trucks, were to just ram each other and have flamethrowers, like that would be really impressive to watch. But I wouldn't feel a fucking thing other than maybe momentary primitive fear every now and again, which I got in the theater.
Yeah,
a couple
excited
times.
or
But then
thrilled.
when that would slow down, you know how Fury Road is just unrelenting.
Sure.
Yes.
And then
And
there's
you
a
care.
couple,
This
couple
film
quiet
is
moments.
relenting.
It's almost like the negative of Fury Road. Like if you were to overlay them, it might turn into like the most relenting movie,
Sure.
and then the other side of that is the most unrelenting movie ever made. Because there's just a lot of quiet moments.
And I think that
Moments.
I think the first one was more emotional with Momoa and
And
with
the dad. And
with the dad, where you got a little more of that. And I'm cautious to speak on this movie too, because I saw Dune 1, thought it was like 3.5 stars.
yeah, then you went back.
I saw it again. I was like 4.5 at least. And with the spectacle, where to me it's almost like the sci-fi equivalent of Big Lebowski,
Yeah.
where it's
When you
there's
go back.
so much to follow along, and you want to make sure you're not missing anything. You're trying to figure out where it's going, and then once you know what this is, and you go back, you have more freedom to sort of enjoy it,
I see.
and you're not as distracted by all the terms.
so the key to enjoying this 3-hour epic is seeing it 3 or 4 times.
It was the
We're seeing it just again. I'm seeing it again Friday. I got my tickets.
It must be nice to be unemployed. The swooshing
has
of
its moments.
the walking, the sashaying walking,
The hand walking.
when they were doing that in synchronized.
That was
style.
douche chills.
That
was-
Considering we're talking
good.
about a
Yeah.
100-ton worm, I doubt they care very much if you're walking 18 inches to one side.
plus, if they come, so what? Jump on its back, take a ride. Apparently, you have no problem doing that. I understand what they're going for with the cultural thing, and like this is our people's way, and you're learning the way. It was so on the nose, and ultimately, I mean, this is just and same with Star Wars. Like this could be like a recruitment tool used in like Afghanistan, to fight the Americans.
This like kids.
Right. But I mean, the rebels, right? They're all the good guys again over here, and they're just against the evil empire who's trying to mine their stuff. It's that simple, where it's just like the evil money-grubbing fucks in the world have assembled, and they're just trying to take all the resources, and then these people are like, not us, we're not going to allow it. Many, many moments, too, of like people hiding in sand, and then for hours and hours, and it's like, just hide behind a dune. You don't have to be like under sand with little pipes.
I have a question.
And they're far away, and then they'll get sniped off.
This could reveal my ignorance even further. Why did the Javier Bardem's, the rebels living in caves, give a shit if the others took the spices? Because I didn't see them using spices at any point.
It's in their food.
It's in the food.
But did they mine the spice to then put in the food, or is it just part of the food?
I think they're just all being affected by it. It's like if you were working on a nuclear power plant, but the nuclear fission, like the nuclear particles is actually doing you good or making you powerful, and they can't help. So like the peons who are doing all the labor are actually being affected.
But I think all of them are. That's why their eyes are blue. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's in their food and in their presumably in their water and all that.
There was a fun. I'm surprised we didn't
It's
do
like they're microdosing mushrooms all the time.
Okay. I'm surprised we didn't do comments of the week, as there was someone took some issue with me not looking forward to watching Dune on our Reddit, and I apologize. I know this is very important to some people, and I apologize if we didn't have the right reaction.
I like this movie a lot, but I think even people that love this movie would have liked to have had a little bit more there for just for the caring part.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like a lot of people loved it exactly as it was.
But don't they want to care more about
I
it?
think
Or do
they
they
did.
care about
Yes.
the characters? So
I
maybe
think they
it's
did.
us. Maybe like there's something
Maybe we're lacking.
maybe we're lacking.
This movie convinced me that Austin Butler has a different gear besides just Elvis and being hot.
Well, he was doing a Batman thing a little bit. It was good at first,
But
but
he
then
was
I'm like,
also
he's doing this a lot.
But he was imitating Stellan, though. I felt like he was in line with that house and what the characters were doing.
Yeah, I liked him. He was really good.
And I liked that he wasn't afraid to be this weird, creepy cannibal
Honestly,
dude.
though, even that, I wanted like more Caligula out of him. Like we saw that like he would just slice throats without thinking much. But I mean, he could have been more. He could have done more diabolical stuff. He could have embodied evilness. I think
He wasn't diabolical. He was like rageful and like impulsive.
And they kept saying he's a sociopath. He doesn't have feelings. He doesn't care about life. We get that because he would just at a moment's notice kill someone. But he could have done like even more. Like I think of Caligula, like the kinds of things he was doing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have used a little more evilness out
I mean,
of him,
he
which
amped it
sounds
up
crazy.
beyond the book. In the book, he was not as evil as they portrayed him in the...
He was chewing the scenery.
Yeah.
He was great.
I loved him.
I enjoyed.
All right. So, yeah, it's a good movie. It's a 3.5, 4-star movie. It's what you'd expect.
Closer to 3.
I think it could have, I think there's like a 5-star movie in there somewhere. You just got a mind for it, right? Like there's the spices in there.
That's right.
Sorry. I
Gotta
feel like we're
filter
pissing off so many people.
I know. Send your emails to Anderson.
It's the best movie I've seen in the theaters this year. All right?
By far.
By far.
It was good in IMAX 70mm.
You know what I keep doing?
Glorious.
Oh, wait, no, I saw Past Lives. No, and I saw Perfect Days.
You know what I keep doing? You ever do this, guys, where you see something, your brain is seeing something over and over again, and somebody does something that's like a little bit particular, and then you catch yourself doing that particular thing, but you can't remember who it is that...
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been doing that with One Love. Like I'll look out of the corner of my eye, like the clock, and then I'll move my head, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing Bob Marley from One Love right now. It's happening a lot.
I like
He's
that
in my
movie.
conscious.
That's the way you're cocking your head?
Like, you know how he like kind of looks and then like turns his head? Like I heard this question, but I don't know if I want to answer
Yeah.
And that comes to streaming. I might have to do a rewatch.
it. It wasn't terrible.
I liked
It was better than we were
It might be a
expecting.
good watch along.
That would be a very fun watch along if it came to
A
streaming.
lot
If
of
that is like
lot of
Netflix
dialogue.
or.
A lot of dialogue. Okay. What else we got, kids?
I think we got a break.
Yeah, take a quick break.
Break time. Come back. I got some Oscar movies to catch you all up with after this. All right, welcome back. Anderson, you want to let me get this out of the way?
I don't know what that is.
It's a film that I saw that I don't imagine you have seen or will see, and that's just fine, because it's called Four Daughters.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it's a tough watch.
Four Daughters is a 2023 film directed by Kauthar Ben Hania, director of The Man Who Sold His Skin, 95% of Rotten Tomatoes.
I like that Man Who Sold His Skin. That wasn't bad.
It was maybe a little underwhelming, but it was still good.
I've seen the trailer for this one a couple different times. I was trying to sell myself on it because it's on a lot of top 10 lists this year.
It's nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars.
I've heard it's an important film. I did not take the plunge. I'm glad you did.
The Next One of Us. It is streaming on Prime. Anderson, what do you know about this or imagine it to be?
Well, I saw the trailer, so I mean, I know. So there's a mother who has 4 daughters. 2 of them got radicalized. They are no longer in the picture. They got actors to play them, to reenact things, to kind of try and take us through what happened, how 2 of the 4 daughters who all had the same upbringing, 2 get radicalized, 2 do not.
So the radicalization of the 2 daughters is a very, very, very small part of the film, almost tacked on to the end.
Is it more about shoe shopping and like?
No, it's... So the other part you said is the dominant part of the movie, which I'm a fan of describing things when necessary as needlessly elaborate. So yes, this woman who has 4 daughters, hence the title, sets out to tell her life story. Also the story of her daughter's upbringing, but they do it bizarrely and needlessly elaborately by hiring local actresses to play the parts. And most of the movie is this woman and these daughters describing their lives to the actresses. And it's like, this is a middleman we do not need. We either tell your story, animate it, or do something to make it come alive, or just tell the story because it's compelling, or make it a feature narrative and have actresses play all these parts, and then it's compelling as well. We're stuck in the middle. And the movie is effectively describing their lives to the actresses who will then act out a handful of scenes in the context of this movie. It was a very, very, very tough watch.
Remember the John Benet Ramsey movie that they did something similar where they were casting for all the different characters?
I did not remember that.
You know, it's funny, is Loaded for Bear, the documentary that Mike and I are, we both do not want to be in the documentary, but we realize that things that are happening behind the scenes, and especially with the short film, and trying to get the narrative feature off the ground, these are all things that should be represented in the movie somehow, and we are actually going to cast a couple of the Born Act players to play us.
Oh, nice.
But this is a good note, but we're not going to obviously show us just talking and giving them direction, because that would be what you just saw, which didn't work for you.
I think this can be done well, like a movie like American Splendor, the Crumb movie.
Yeah.
Like it was Paul Giamatti and it was Judah Friedlander, and at certain points, like they did a thing where they broke the fourth wall, weirdly, where they broke away and they showed them like rehearsing and the actual guys like describing that all worked. That was an interesting wrinkle. This was tough, man.
Why was it tough? Because you didn't.
The subject matter was brutal. Like, you know, the daughter is not going to be surprised.
Do you think
had a tough upbringing?
Do you think it was deliberately done because the filmmaker thought it would be the easiest landing for the mom to get into detail and the other sister to get into detail?
That's possible.
Without,
totally possible.
I mean, it's a bit of like a buffer almost. Like if they're trying to direct and give motivation to these actors who are playing their sisters. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but it sounds like it was tedious.
It was tough. And it was also, again, I'm revealing my ignorance here, but it was hard to keep track of who was who, because at a certain point, they're all wearing like burqas. You know what I mean? They're all wearing like head to toe clothing, or I guess it was a fabric or burqas, you know, the traditional dress. And they all look remarkably the same because you only see their eyes or like their part of their face. So at a certain point, you're like, I'm not sure who I'm looking at anymore.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
again,
I can see that.
This might be my, ignorance coming through. Maybe it was easy for other people. For me, I was like, I don't know who's who anymore.
All right, cool. I'm glad I'm not going to be watching that one.
That said, it was really good.
Do people watch this? Should people watch this?
Man, if you're a completionist.
Number one vaulties.
That said, I will say certain parts are extremely effective. Certain parts are extremely harrowing. Like they're describing, the mom in particular, describing her relationship with her husband and how things work in that part of the world. It is gripping, some of those descriptions. That said, I feel like an opportunity was missed a little bit. So to really milk the drama.
Look at this
from
guy. I'm making a documentary, so I know what
I should
documentary.
be so lucky to have the drama built in.
Pablo Berger, Brian, made a animated film, which is up for Best Animated Feature at this year's Oscars. A friend of mine made it available to me, and I have since watched it. And it is called Robot Dreams. Robot Dreams, directed.
Can we save this?
No.
I did.
I'm saving. So why do I gotta save so many goddamn movies for you, Brian?
You didn't say. We've been texting about movies that line up.
Check your text right now.
I did not see Robot Dreams. I saw the other one. I mean,
it's 100% in the text.
I think it is. You definitely had a teacher's lounge.
I mean, I didn't see Robot Dreams either.
Oh my God!
I was going to watch the screener.
I can't look at my phone because my phone is acting as my camera.
No, you said Bobby Wine and teacher's lounge.
That's what he said.
I think you just said teacher's lounge.
Someone named Anderson says, I also saw Robot Dreams.
Yes, I did.
Wait, when did you say that?
It was right after. You wrote it up, you son of a bitch. You said, won't be lining up much. Dune and Teachers for me. And then 2 hours later, also saw Robot Dreams.
I'm very.
there was no time to watch that. Yesterday at 10.
I'm very busy.
There's no time.
Well, I watched this a couple days. Okay, well, I'll do a quick little tease. I don't even know if this is streaming anywhere, but if you would like to jump on and watch this.
Is it worth me jumping on and watching this?
I liked this movie just fine. And, okay, so Pablo Berger wrote, directed it. Sarah Varon is one of the
Love Sarah Varon.
writers as well. And here's the cast. There is really no cast because there's no
dialogue free.
Dialogue free, and this movie runs a scant hour and 42 minutes without any dialogue, and they live in this. So I'll give you an idea of what the story is, and I do recommend this movie once it becomes streaming. It's not streaming at the moment. It's a dog. She lives in a world filled with animals, not unlike
Zootopia-esque world, yeah. The animals are all populating this large city.
And and there's some stereotypes going on where, like the Tuffians or Ruffians or like the big rhinoceros and whatnot. She's by herself. She lives in an apartment. She eats TV dinners by herself. She's sad, and then she sees her neighbors.
Let's back up one step, because did you assume the dog was a female?
Did you see this movie?
Of course I did.
Oh, well then why is there discussion about saving?
Because I haven't any notes.
What? Nowhere.
I have no notes.
Because you have no notes?
I thought you hadn't seen it.
I have no notes. I didn't take notes because this movie...
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist. I've taken notes. All right, we'll talk about this
I did
next
not.
week.
To answer your question, a bit of an androgynous dog, all right? And I'm still not 100%, especially that duck. I don't know if that duck was a lesbian duck or a cool boy duck. I can't tell.
You don't gender your animals?
I don't gender my animals, Brian. But I thought this dog was probably a boy at first, and then I thought it was a girl, but I thought Bluey was a boy for the first season as well. So doesn't matter. It's about love, right? It's about companionship. It's about sharing your life. And this dog is sad and lonely and sees an ad for a robot and buys that robot, puts the robot together. Guess what? Hanging with the robot, happy with the robot, friendly with the robot. That's the story. Until it's not. Do you have anything else you want to add to the first half of this?
Not this week.
You know what I'm saying? Brian, we're doing this right now. We're not doing Robot Dreams next week, so you can write some
this is really hurtful.
Afterthought prose about it. Where are your notes? You don't take them during the show?
I do, but then I know we're going to confess it. I assemble them into a cohesive format with the director and the Rotten Tomatoes score. And
I just did it. I just covered a lot. There's no cast.
Fucking weaked out on me.
Fucking Brian, he saw the movie, but he doesn't want to talk about it because he can't read his.
I'm very angry.
His organized.
You can't read from the scripture.
All right, so ultimately, this
We're
movie,
still doing this.
I'm watching it and I'm thinking, like, this is good, but it's not like Academy Award good. Like, how is this getting nominated? I get that it's kind of gimmicky because there's no dialogue at all,
and it seems like the animation style is interesting and kind of fresh.
A little Bob's Burger, a little bit.
It feels like almost a throwback to some of the older '60s animation, like a Tintin kind of thing, but it feels fresher.
I have no
it
thoughts
feels more
on
like
this.
'90s Cartoon Network to me.
I have no thoughts.
Interesting,
but
I like the aesthetic from the trailer that I saw.
The aesthetic's good. But the story, and I'm saying to Atticus, like, we're 40 minutes into this movie, and I'm like, this movie, you know what this movie is missing? And he's like, conflict, and we know this because we go to acting class with born act players everywhere. I'm like, you're right, buddy. There's no conflict in this movie. Where's the conflict? It's coming.
There's no Austin Butler.
We're waiting for the conflict.
There's no Fade Roth.
There is no. Would you stop taking it back to Dune? There's no conflict. It's just them enjoying themselves.
No Baron von Harkonnen.
Brian, Avery, don't make me ever call you Brian again because that's a bad sign. So ultimately,
see what you've done.
It's hard to talk about this without actually spoiling it, but obviously conflict does arise.
The robot runs out of batteries.
So close.
And relationships do kind of bob in and out, and loneliness does rear its head again. And there is stuff that most of us have experienced with love and loss, and how to deal with this.
I should point out, you keep saying love. I don't want the audience to think we're talking about romantic love. It's more about the companionship.
It's companionship, yeah. I mean, this is like a child's animal universe, which is very innocent, and holding hands is sex in this movie, essentially. That's all we need. We don't need, right?
There's very little doggy-style action.
And
very little.
I'm watching the movie and I'm enjoying the movie, but I'm still a little bit like, how is this movie? It must have been a weak year, which it kind of was for animated movies. Let's be honest. I mean, when Elemental's up for best animated feature, it's a bit of a weak year.
How was this up over the Turtles? Turtle time.
Yeah, I was wondering about the Turtles.
Turtles, yeah, I don't know.
That seems like a
Turtles should have been up. Nimona is absolutely worthy.
Nimona rules. Did I tell you I saw that?
Did you see it recently?
Nimona rules.
It's so fucking good. But Robot Dreams.
We're drifting.
By the end.
Did you see Dune?
Would you shut your fucking mouth, Brian? Avery. It got me. It got me. It made poor Atticus very uncomfortable. Because he gets really uncomfortable when Daddy cries.
A couple of new characters come in, but a new character comes in who changes the game a little bit.
The resolution at the end and the decision made really, really got me, and it was kind of beautiful and kind of gorgeous. And that's I think this movie is deserved. Now, did I like it as much as Dune 2? No, I did not.
Really?
Impossible.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, this is apples and oranges, but
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Dune 2, much more of a spectacle, but this one impressed me quite a bit, just with what it has everything Dune doesn't have, which has made me feel. This movie made me feel.
Oh yeah, I definitely had more emotion in this than all of Dune.
Robot Dreams is actually, the name comes from things that happen with the robot, where there is that thing that they do. It's tropey, and I'm not a big fan of it, where it's like fantasy, and you're like, am I watching fantasy right now, or am I watching what's really happening? And what's funny is his fantasy is what should actually just happen. It's not even like miraculous fantasy. It's just how, in this case, animals are treating each other, but how the world should work. But no, when reality gets brought back into focus, that's not how. People generally don't do the right thing as far as this film is concerned.
Interesting.
Until they do at the end. Oh, very good. I recommend this, Robot Dreams. And if you have a child,
it was very good.
Watch along.
Keep it on your radar because it'll be streaming, I assume, soon. And it was very enjoyable. A little different, a different flavor, especially given the Spider-Mans and the Nimonas and the TMNTs of the world, which are go, 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 action, 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 and they're fun, and then there's a place for that. This is a very different flavor.
It's slow, but it's okay. It's not a bad thing that it's slow. And
it's a good slow.
My little guy, Atticus, he's 7 now, and he's Mr. Go, Go, Go. He loves just horrible YouTube videos, which I try and limit, and it's just nonstop cuts and action, and it infuriates me, because he'd rather watch Christian fundamentalists from Texas.
Hell yeah.
Or Mormons, I think a lot of them are. There's like 9 fucking kids in their family, and the kids just run around pretending to be like Avengers, that kind of thing. He'd rather watch them pretend to be Avengers than watch Avengers. I'm like, you realize you're sitting there watching them pretend to be something that you don't even know.
You're still iterations away now from the thing.
Oh, I hate it when he gets a reward for doing good in school, and he gets to watch an hour of bad YouTube. It's just, I'm leaving. I can't be in the room.
Yeah, Tessa will watch like Harry Potter trivia or some sort of something, and it's like, this is very bad. You should not watch this.
This is like the entertainment value of the stuff they'd show before movies in the early 2000s or 90s.
Totally. Am I hurting?
Oh yeah,
just
when you get there way too early.
Oh God.
Am I hurting my daughter's development by just let me finish by repeatedly pointing out that what is on the screen is bad?
Jillian gets mad at me for always, and I've seen him slump a couple times when I come in and just start destroying what he's watching.
Okay, I don't do that.
I try to just keep my mouth shut, but I will look at him and say, Daddy's leaving the room. I'm going out in the garage because I can't be around this because I hate it so much.
Occasionally, Tess will make the mistake of being like, Daddy, do you like this?
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
Yeah, because
Then you get to open
I
your
want to
mouth.
hold back. I'm not relentless about it, but like I'll look up at zombies or something like, no, this is very bad.
I just hate the kids so much. Like, and they're all like overconfident. These
I
kids are
you hate the kid.
the kids. The children he's watching, and then I'll see that like he's trying to act like them. I'm like, this is bad. Like, Jillian, we need to fucking stop this
don't do
now. Because like they're all like overly cocky and if like they make a basket, like they'll do a video like at an arcade or something with like you shoot the baskets. If they shoot a basket, like they're just like celebrating, ooh, like doing like the He-Man Hulk thing. Let's go! Everything's let's go.
Tess is adopting a bit of an attitude too from these things. She like a lot of well, I'll be in the middle of a sentence, like, okay, don't forget you got to finish your homework, clean up your room, and before I can get to clean up your room, she's like, okay, yeah, bye. Like, what the fuck was that?
That's a kid trying to be cool for YouTube, and it makes it to air, and then
To air.
to air. I know.
Can I talk Teacher's Lounge?
Yes, let's touch. I'll do it with you. Wait, can we wait till next week so I can get my
No,
notes
I
in order?
got our movies.
I have my notes in order.
Oh, you've seen the Teacher's Lounge too.
Fucking teachers lounge.
Let's do a little Teacher's Lounge, shall we?
We can
My
save it.
ire was raised.
We can
Was it?
save it if you want.
Ire.
There's no saving. Let's do Teacher's Lounge. please.
Teacher's Lounge is a 2023 film directed by Ilker Satak, I believe it's pronounced, starring Leonie Benesh, Eva Lobau, and Leonard Stetnich. 97% of Rotten Tomatoes. This is nominated for Best International Feature. This swept the German Film Awards this year. Yes, it is a German film, spoken in German with English subtitles. And it is, as you might guess by the title, a film that largely takes place in the teacher's lounge.
The titular lounge.
The teacher's lounge of a high school. Yeah, high school.
What was it? Junior high and high school?
I don't know how they.
Because I think they were 12.
I don't know how they structure. Excuse me.
So I think it was
I
one
don't
of
know
those
structure
combined
their
schools.
I didn't
grades.
see any old kids wandering around. It looks like a giant junior high to me.
You saw some old kids in the in the newspaper room. They were not
Oh, yeah,
13-year-olds.
they might be a little bit older. Yeah, once the news got involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as Anderson alluded to last week, low stakes.
This is like a horror film made for teachers specifically. I think.
Yeah.
It's limited storytelling.
Teachers with a moral compass
Sure.
would be terrified of this movie.
So this film starts out with how soon do we learn this teacher is new? She is new at the school. And
Like,
she's
towards the end of the first act.
Okay, she's a bit idealistic. Is that the word? She's a bit idealistic, and she's the kind of teacher that she's not a strict disciplinarian, but she has control of her class. Like she'll come into the class, and they have like a clapping ritual.
I like
where
that a lot.
they
I
all
want
say,
to institute that in
That
my
was fun.
house.
Guten Tag. Yes, they all chant and talk about what a great day it's going to be.
She has their respect.
Indeed, she has control of the classroom. They like her. She seems to be a good teacher, again, for being new or first year at the school. And something happens. There is a incident, a theft, I guess I'll say. And the students are suspected. There is a bit of... it's adjacent to like the SS, right? Where the
I was going to say, it was a very German inquiry.
yeah, the Germans
They were
come in
carrying out.
and perform a pseudo interrogation on the students
On
who
the one Muslim
12-year-olds.
they're forced to take out their wallets and leave them on the table, and anyway,
And point fingers.
a lot of ratting being encouraged, and later on they start to sweat a couple of kids.
It's a means to an end, guys.
It's very German. That said, they are determined to find out who is the culprits behind this supposed incident, this supposed theft. And students get brought in, teachers get brought in, faculty gets brought in to the circle of suspicion. And that's our movie. It's short, it's brisk, so I don't want to give too much away because that's the first act, and then we're on our way.
Yeah, it becomes a much bigger ball of wax, and
Things
there are
spiral out of control.
unraveling. But
I feel like all that's still in Act 1, though.
And
when
that's everything
when it
that's described as
escalates.
Act 1.
No, I think it's about halfway through the movie. So what we're describing is something I think a little bit more. This movie works, but it's quiet. The score really helps.
Yeah.
Elevate the tension, and some of the situations, but it's not like a movie where it's like the unraveling of a character or things are getting chaotic and like with camera motions, like frenetic.
The movie
it's
itself
not.
Stays
It's
on
very
the rails.
stays on the rails. It stays realistic.
It's very methodical.
But
It's very methodical.
it is very methodical. It's like a German clock, the way that it continues to tick and ramp towards something. And it's kind of heartbreaking because we see how one implication, someone being implicated, also affects how it trickles down and it continues to get to ultimately ruining like people's lives with finger pointing and wrong people, like your allies get implicated and victimized by the victims themselves. It's all very convoluted and it feels very real in that sense.
No, but for me, while the movie never made that leap to like, wow, this is amazing, it's very good. This is a 4-star movie.
And yeah, I agree. And I think it could have easily done that, but I think it would have there's
some beauty and simplicity.
Yeah. And I think it's staying without anything fantastical or even like today's date. I mean, because we were talking about this from the U.S. over here. I kept waiting for like some extreme violence to happen, and I was happy to see.
It would have if it was the U.S.
It was U.S.
There was one point where I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. I was like gripping. I was like,
White
white knuckling like the pillow. I was sitting there on the couch watching with them. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But ultimately, it didn't do that, and I'm glad it didn't. I think I probably would have affected me more if it had, but that wasn't the point of this movie. That wasn't the point.
I thought the adults in this movie were shockingly irresponsible.
Awful. And that's the whole point.
At almost every level, what was happening was inconceivable because you could have prevented 95% of what happened with
spiraled out of control
with
quickly.
Basic, just adult mirroring of being responsible. And I was shocked by this. And if this was, I was reading that I guess this is similar to how school is conducted in Germany, I would have been fully out and said, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Because just the way the adults behave, it's asinine. Just the stuff with the allowing what happens with the newspaper would happen.
The principal seemed to be like, oh, what are you going to do?
Would never happen in the U.S., would never happen under the guise of, oh, this is good journalism. No, it is not. You're not mirroring good journalism whatsoever. What happens at the teacher's night would not happen in the U.S. Get her the fuck out of there.
I think the journalism was good. I think it was honest.
No, they would have shut that down.
They would have shut that down. They would have shut it down, absolutely. But I'm saying that they were trying to.
I like the kids were.
Yeah.
I think there would have immediately been an adult who stepped in and went, you absolutely cannot do this. Shut this down. There's a proctor involved in every high school in the United States for the paper and an editor.
Not an adult to be seen.
But what was kind of weird with all of that too? Ludicrous. The paper. I mean, this wasn't a period piece. Like, why wouldn't they just post that like on a Facebook or something?
They did though.
What are they actually selling it for $2?
Yeah,
like, who's doing that? I don't see kids buying a newspaper for $2.
But
at school,
they still have physical copies and all that shit as part of the.
Here's what's interesting, and I think maybe this was the point.
The principal, insane.
5 years from now, is she one of them? Has she just kind of like attrition gotten to her and she's become
maybe
one of the other more tenured teachers?
The kids being involved in high-level disciplinary meetings when we're discussing faculty punishment.
Avery sounds like an angry parent.
No, yeah, that's how I felt. It was astounding to me.
I do agree with Avery in the sense is like, oh, they're having like a disciplinary meeting about whether or not to suspend with this kid, and there's 2 students like sitting on the meeting. It's like,
and it's adults showing adult emotion where you need to be an adult to conceptualize that and couch it. You as a 12-year-old can't process that these 2 teachers are screaming at each other and then leave the room and go, oh, I know how to reconcile that. That's not going to happen. And it's going to cloud your vision of your teacher.
That's how it works over there.
And that's
what I'm saying.
And this is how it works over there.
But I just felt that seems insane that this is how that works.
Kind of like an Anatomy of a Fall, where like it can't work like this.
Yeah.
Does it work this way though? Has that been? We got German listeners. They're going to weigh in.
Please do, because I was seeing some of that talk, at least from people who claim to be German on Reddit. But
they said that this was accurate.
Yeah, I felt disgusted by a lot of this movie.
It's like they're like,
I was surprised at how angry this movie made me.
It's like they were kind of, I mean, short of the violence, they were using the shake you down like a Nazi tendencies or
there
protocol.
Was a little Gestapo action.
The mom should be thrown in jail. That mom should not be raising children.
The mom that worked at the school?
Yes.
She wasn't great.
Oh, she wasn't
unbelievable. The decision that she was making.
I didn't like her stars on her shirt. I mean, I thought her style choices were questionable.
The blouse was annoying.
It didn't affect me quite the way it affected Avery. Avery's
I was
really
furious.
hook, line, and sinker.
I
And he
was
doesn't have
furious.
kids. That's weird.
No.
Huh. Interesting.
I was furious.
It's a quiet movie, but it says a lot. And
I was doing a lot of agreeing with the conservative Brown teacher by the end. It's like, what is going on here?
all right. Teacher's Lounge.
It's a good movie.
Anything else to bring to the Flickfession this week?
I got some for next week.
Sure you do.
You gonna watch the toilet cleaning movie, Anderson?
Skibbity Dub Dub?
Perfect Days.
Get 'em right.
No.
I got Perfect Days.
I have
and
not
I got
seen it. Yeah, I will see it probably by
Perfect
the time.
Days is really good. And Bobby Wine I'll be talking about next week.
It's my favorite movie about a man who cleans toilets.
I'll be watching. I'm going to Japan in a couple weeks, so I will.
You do have to
I'll
see
watch
it
it
then,
before I go to Japan. I'll be
You
watching
all know
Falling,
respect for those public toilets when you're out there.
Falling Leaves and Showing Up are a couple movies that I should catch up with by
those?
next week. And yes, and then we do a quick Flickfession, right, for the Volties?
Yeah, we always do a Flickfession.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You have no desire to see Bobby Wine?
Oh, I might watch Bobby Wine. I watched the first 5 minutes. I'm like, I think I know what this movie is. I don't know if I need to see it. Does it pick up?
I will tell you, it's adjacent to Street Fight. That movie.
Oh, I'm in.
It's got
Fucking love that Street
got a
Fight.
little Street Fight.
All right, I'm in.
A little bit of Naval me too.
I need to rewatch Blackberry. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Before the Volties.
Oh,
I need to
Blackberry and
revisit.
Bottoms. I think it
Because
is.
honestly, guys, I don't know what my Volties. It's a mystery to me. Like I got to go do my research and read over all the movies and figure out what.
It's gonna be a
I
hell of a week.
don't know what's going on with the Volties. I won't know until I actually put pen to paper.
I might say fuck Dune and watch back-to-back Blackberry and Bottoms.
That'd be a good week. That'd be an enjoyable watch. Yeah. All right.
Lucky you. All right, going next, we'll do our Oscar locks, things you can take to the bank for the Oscars after this.
I'm in my house, wasn't far enough to take me away. Look out your window and see the road is on its way.
Anderson, I know you're up against it time-wise, so this is going to be.
I got double Bryan on the YouTube.
I like that.
From two slightly different angles. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Before we get into our Oscar locks and help people win their Oscar pools.
Oh, Christ. I forgot about this.
Oh, is it bean time?
Better with
We don't have bean time. Why is my microphone not working?
I would say we could
It is.
save it for next week, but I did that 1 year, and there was outrage.
Why don't you do it for the Revolties? Revolties.
There was outrage. Mike Carano himself was annoyed that I dared to sell the Revolties.
I agree.
He
I agree
was,
with.
He was
It's perfect for the Revolties, okay? Because it's revolting, and I
That's not a bad argument.
am not in a mood right now to be able to laugh along. So
Why are you not in the mood?
Because I'm starving and I'm looking at the clock, and
Then get us-
it took me
get
an
us
hour
some.
and a half to get
I'll
here.
kill some time. All right, I can save it.
Please do.
I'll do that and I'll flick fast Robot Dreams again.
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, so
I got notes.
I think Bean should Better with Bean should line up with the Revolties.
Okay.
Don't you think?
I want to give it its room to breathe.
Can I ask if
Wait, are you gonna be gone?
Society of Snow?
Oh, no, it's gonna be. It's actually good. We'll do it because it's a short week that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Society of Snow make an appearance in Better with Bean.
It's not important what's gonna be on.
It is very important. I mean, I know that Saltburn has to be.
Salt bean. Let's just say. Let's say
For people who don't know what's coming, will you give them a little?
So Poor Things make an appearance.
I don't think Poor Things will make it.
fourth thing. So does Dream Scenario.
Why don't you let everyone? Of course it does. Why don't you let everyone know what they have to look forward to in a couple weeks?
So it's a very simple bit. It's how I explain how some of the more notable movies of the year, while still good, can be even better if we added the actor Michael Biehn instead of whoever is in the film. It's a
Anatomy of
very
a
simple
Bean?
bit. What's that?
Anatomy of a Bean.
Anatomy of a Bean.
Safe.
Physiology of a Bean.
Of a bean.
Avery, don't be tawdry.
You're being tawdry.
Oftentimes,
Being tawdry.
other elements will find themselves in the movie as well, but the constant recurring factor is always Michael Biehn makes everything better.
And veiled homophobia.
I don't know if it's homophobia. I think you're
know.
embracing.
It's homojoking.
I don't know.
It's homojoking.
I don't know it's I know it's a veil. Pretty out in the front. All right, fine. We'll save. Are you ready for no?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's. So here we go. We are usually very good with these locks. All right, these are the 5
Oh yeah.
picks, Oscar picks that we truly believe will help you with your pool, so you can kind of almost just count on having 5 right off the bat. That said, last year I did miss one, which is rare. It's a rarity.
And also, you've accused me of simply going with the Oscar odds as Vegas that dictates them. I did, of course. I'm very familiar with the odds. Not going with just straight, the heaviest favorites. I actually picked some that were
some sleepers.
Not as heavy favorites, but I'm like, there's no way.
Okay. All right.
No.
Last year I missed Best Actress. I thought it was going to be Kate Blanchett.
But you chose, you boldly chose the one that wasn't a lock at all.
Well, I thought it was because I don't look at the odds. So you should also take that into account. I don't look at odds. I just use what I think is my.
Any idiot could tell you.
You're like an old baseball scout.
Sandra Oh
Yeah.
was gonna.
You're the eye test.
I didn't realize that
Sandra
Sandra.
Oh. No.
He's not using the advanced analytics.
I'm not. Wait. Oh, look at that. A couple years ago, best sound for Dune. Oh wow, I had a. Is this me? No, come on.
Oh, come on.
I can't do that.
Doing
I can't take it
deals.
right now.
Can't do it.
Doing deals.
No, I'm not gonna do
You
it.
want to reject?
Yeah, reject.
Speaking of Dune, my friend, she brought up a good point that Oppenheimer's very lucky that Dune was pushed to this year, or it would probably be losing a bunch of technical awards.
I think you're right. All right, here we go. Let's go.
Could have changed the Oscar landscape.
All right, I will start off by saying there is a lock for Best Director this year, strangely enough. It's going to be Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. He is a heavy favorite, although not the heaviest favorite of the show. Other nominees include Martin Scorsese, Yorgos Lanthimos, kind of a long shot.
He shouldn't win just because of fucking the black dude in it. He ruined it.
His casting
Oh, my
cost him
God.
the award.
This is the last year we're not going to have casting as a category, right?
It's actually 2026,
All
I
right.
believe. Justine Triet, bit of a long shot, and Jonathan Glazer, in my opinion, has very little chance. So Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer will win Best Director. He is currently a minus 5,000 favorite, meaning if you wanted to, let's put it this way. If you wanted to bet on Jonathan Glazer at plus 3,000, that's based on a $100 bet, so you'd win
3,000.
You win 300. Oh yeah, about 3,000 for your $100.
Yeah, Gerard Carmichael lost him the Oscar.
What?
Gerard
That's the
Carmichael
actor.
lost
Lost
him the
that's
Oscar.
his name. I
Lost
don't
Yorgos.
want to know his name. He
I would
wasn't.
love it if someone simply bet on all the heavy favorites of the Oscars just to win like a few bucks. Like someone put down $100 on Nolan, knowing it was a sure thing. They're gonna walk away with $3.
3? That's it?
Could be 7.
No, my number 5 is directing Oppenheimer.
Oh really?
Christopher Nolan,
nice.
yeah.
Look at us. I'm gonna mix it up and go off the board a little bit. Number 4 for me. I predict there is a lock that there will be at least one major upset at the Oscars. I've been looking back.
Brian.
I know. Well, there's a way to get around to get some more interesting content in here. So every year there's at least one upset that is either major or significance. Maybe not like Nolan losing to Justine Triet. But my likeliest categories, if you will, one of these is going to pull off the upset. Best Actor. Now, right now, Cillian Murphy's a pretty heavy favorite, which is surprising because while there's a lot of goodwill for Cillian Murphy, and he's a really good actor overall, I think Paul Giamatti was actually more impressive in The Holdovers. So Paul Giamatti, as an underdog, could pull off the upset. Best Original Score, right now, Oppenheimer is kind of it is a heavy favorite at minus 2,500. Killers of the Flower Moon for Robbie Robertson. That's the one part of the movie, positively, that stood out for me was the score. It was actually really good. And he died this year, so I could see some goodwill going his way. Best Documentary, strangely enough, 20 Days in Mariupol is the heavy favorite at minus 1,000. It's very good, but it's also a difficult watch. Like a movie like Bobby Wine, which you have not seen yet, and I have, is a much more fun watch and a much more engaging story. It's like almost a thriller or a mystery in certain ways, and it's very accessible on Netflix. So I feel like that could pull off the upset. Or my best bet for an upset right now, the song by Billie Eilish for Barbie is the favorite to win Best Original Song. What Was I Made For? I'm Just Ken, also from Barbie, is a much more fun song.
Much more memorable.
Much more memorable. It's
Not
sort of
Billie Eilish,
captured the zeitgeist.
I think
a little
so
bit.
many, and maybe this is me being jaded or wrong, but I think so many of the votes are just people who don't even just scanning. They're like, oh, I know Billie Eilish.
Yeah, but
Check.
Is Billie? Okay, I guess.
And that's why I think the Mariupol thing, it's important.
Does Billie Eilish, the name recognition, win out over Mark Ronson, who is the songwriter for I'm Just Ken? Like, he's not as famous, but this is not an obscure, like, I don't know who that is.
But she's extremely famous.
Yeah, you're
Everyone.
right.
And like all the older voters, they all have a granddaughter who loves Billie Eilish,
Yeah.
trying
Right.
to pull off the green hair.
That said, I still feel like
Billie
I'm Just
Eilish is
Ken
tight.
is the like every Perfectly Cap said it. It's memorable. It's a song that we all end up humming for better or worse. I'm just Ken.
That's great.
Anywhere else I'd be a 10. It's fun. It's funny. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I can see that pulling off the upset.
Okay, my number 4 lock. I'm also going off the board a little bit. I guarantee someone will show up. At least one person will show up with a tuxedo, wearing a tuxedo.
Both.
That's
If you said a
controversial.
woman, I'd say that's actually a good choice.
Number 3.
I can see Greta Gerwig doing that.
Number 4 for me is actor in a supporting role.
Is she really?
I can see.
Robert Downey Jr. will win for Oppenheimer.
I'm glad you said that because that's a huge favorite, and I am very surprised.
He's never won. He's never
What?
won. He's never won.
He's number one.
He's never won
Oh, he's never won.
an Oscar.
Yeah. and-
People like their Robert Downey Jr. He's finally in a movie that's not him flying around in a metal suit. And they're like, finally, we can give you an award for being a great actor. Even though you're a great actor in Iron Man, we couldn't recognize that because we are the Academy.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's a heavy favorite at minus 5,000. That said, 3 of the other 4 nominees were really, really good. And I'm surprised that it's as open and shut as it is. Like Gosling and Barbie, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, and Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction were all great, not just good. They were really good.
I mean, this isn't what I want. This is what I think is going to happen.
I'm
Ruffalo.
I'm surprised.
in
Why
Poor
do you
Things-
want this to happen,
Ruffalo and
Anderson?
Poor Things is who I'm going to be rooting for, or Sterling. I like those 2 performances way more. I'll be very upset of Bobby D. I don't think that
Miracle
Gosling has a chance. Well, what if Gosling's the only thing that wins for Barbie? Pissed off. And my
Wow.
wife Jillian saw Barbie, and she's she's one of these woke feminists, as a lot of people will call people. And,
Radical left?
She's radicalized, and I love her to death. So I'm not talking badly, but she gets out and she finishes
There she
Barbie,
is.
and she's like, the best part about Barbie was Ryan Gosling by far. She's like, I didn't see that coming.
Sure.
She was a little bit annoyed that like he was the best part of. I'm like, yeah, what do you do?
He popped.
He's a fucking dude. he's a guy.
Yeah, it's Ken World. You saw it.
It's
It was better.
right. So yeah, number
Horses.
Number 4. Go ahead. What's number 3 for you, Brad?
Perhaps this is on your list somewhere, Anderson, but a lock is Zone of Interest, the Zone of Interest, winning Best International Feature. It is up for Best Picture, so do the math. Not even that heavy a favorite, considering that for others are in the neighborhood of like minus 8,000. It's a minus 3,000. Society of the Snows in there, Perfect Days.
How's my taste of things doing?
Not
Not nominated for
Oh,
anything.
yeah, it wasn't.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sorry, man. Tears Lounge right there, Io Capitano. But these are all very good movies. But,
Rebel not nominated either, which is
Yes.
travesty.
The Zone of Interest will be taking this one home pretty easily.
Number 3 for me is editing. There was a lot of jarring smash cuts and edits in that Oppenheimer, and it really relied heavily on some pretty intuitive, if not story-specific editing for that Oppenheimer.
Yeah, wasn't it your dad who used to like editing the film's 3 hours long?
Yeah, he would say that. Like, how can a 3-hour movie be up for best editing? I'm like, Dad, I don't think that.
It's such a good old man
Yeah.
take.
Just literally cutting things out of the film.
Yeah, it's like, Dad, you realize if.
Best picture, it's all on the same screen.
They got, they started off with 100 hours of footage, and they got it down to 3 hours.
really
They didn't finish the job. They didn't finish the job.
for your dad to vote, they'd have to see the raw footage, the dailies, and then pare it down to a movie.
It'd have to be under 90 minutes to
right.
get the.
Oh, Andy, I didn't say that. That's what he would yell. Okay, let's go. Oh, Andy.
Coming up
Oh, we got a break.
next, yes, we'll go over the interesting and notable Amazon purchases after this. I'll simply start this off by saying we had a nice bounce back week this week. I understand that people are hesitant to spend a lot of money or do a lot of shopping, whatever, around tax time. And we saw it in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, what are you going to do? It sucks, but, people are doing their best. And you guys came through and did a little extra clicking through. So thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for thinking of us. And thanks for making us a part of your shopping habit.
It's a good way to spend your rebate.
Well put. Well put. Yeah, that's right. If you get any kind of tax refund, blow that shit immediately.
Throw it on the Amazon.
Things purchased on that Amazon banner include an Asus VivoBook 16 laptop was purchased, a Danby Contemporary Classic mini fridge. I actually have one of these, Anderson. It's like a 4x4 mini fridge that you'll plug into a car socket thing, you know what I mean? Which we haven't used very much, but I figure now that Tess is making I don't know if Atticus is leaning this way, but she wants to play soccer. I can see us having to go a fucking hour away to God knows where, and having to bring a little fridge, for a little lunch or something.
Seems excessive.
No.
Yes.
Well, someone got it for
You just get a bag.
for a gift. Yeah, you should get a bag. Oh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Get one of those bags with the it's like the moonwalking bags, right? The insulated bags.
The keep cold bag?
Yeah.
I went with you. Toby Ekta Snowmobile Monosuit Gorilla Mats Premium Exercise Mat. 6 Porter Cable Heat Guns. You know what those for?
Hate guns?
Heat guns.
Oh, heat
Porter
guns? Yeah,
Cable
yeah.
Heat guns.
Pretty good. You can
That was a groomsman gift.
Oh, okay.
TP-Link Tri-Band Wi-Fi router, Kodak digital frames, digital film scanner. 2 people got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth exclusive Amazon edition for PS5. Thank you for making the purchase through us. Appreciate that. Zareba electric fence charger, G-Skill Rip Jaws laptop memory, Hammer Mill printer paper, Echo Gear Max Motion TV wall mount, Swiss Gear Scion expandable roller luggage, Polar Verify optical HRM armband, Blue Air allergen block filter, Nature's Bounty ultra strength probiotic, Anthony glycolic facial cleanser, Kitty smoke and carbon monoxide detector, Converse Chuck Taylor All-Stars canvas sneakers, Donut Shop cake cup pods, Tack Fasten, men's skiing jacket was purchased, Eden all-in-one circuit breaker was picked up, someone got themselves a bathroom storage cabinet, and finally, someone helped themselves and did a little clicking through, much to my joy, to get a hyperdrive USB to HDMI cable. Thank
Here are
you.
the moves. Click through since the last time I talked at y'all. 3 people, not 1, not 2, but 3 people got American Fiction. I really like that movie. I really did. I liked parts of that movie quite a bit. I just thought it was the direction was a little soft, a little made for TV. I think it was a score, which is up for best score. Halloween 2 was clicked through. 1981's Halloween 2. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. That's the one that has nothing to do with the others, I think. It's kind of a standalone. Big Fish was clicked through. Brian.
I'm not supposed to use the link, but you know what? Sometimes
Loves his Big Fish. That
I do like big fish.
I like Big Eyes more than Big Fish. That I can talk.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Love that Big
No,
Eyes.
they're not.
Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2 was clicked through. The Lobster was clicked through. Perfect Days was clicked through. 2 people got Anatomy of a Fall.
Ooh.
Not 1, but 2. And
Smart.
anyone But You with Glenn Powell in there. And then finally Pearl was clicked through. The second. It was a prequel to X, right? Get the Pearl.
No,
Yes.
X first, Pearl. Oh yeah,
Pearl
Pearl
is the
came out
prequel.
second, but it was a prequel. Yes, yes, so.
Yes.
I've already
And
seen.
that's what was clicked through. Thank you very much for
Then
clicking
we got
through. Thanks for-
Maxine coming.
This
We got
year, I
Maxine.
think.
Maxine is coming soon.
with
yes.
3 X's.
Very excited.
Nice.
Triple X. Not Vin Diesel's Triple X. It's a different movie.
Yes, it's different than Maxine.
And now back to the program.
Welcome back. Want to hit you with a number 2?
Do it, buddy.
My number 2 lock of the Oscars. I didn't do it last year, and actually a couple of people were like, hey, what's up with that? So I will once again be predicting there will be
Blood.
an in memoriam snub. Someone will be left off who should not be left off. Now, I find it hard to believe that any of these will be left off, but I suppose it's possible. Burt Young from the Rocky series. Treat Williams died last year. Lance Reddick, who we all like so much. Raquel Welch and Melinda Dillon. I assume they'll all be on there. My most likely snubs from the in memoriam segment include Ryan O'Neal. Again, a lot of these are going to be drug problems or some sort of scandal in their past that maybe the Oscar, the Academy says, we're not going to highlight that person. Ryan O'Neal, Matthew Perry. And you're like, oh, he's a TV actor. Was in a few notable films. Richard Roundtree, Robbie Robertson. He's probably in there. But Paul Rubens, Tom Sizemore, you can see his checkered pass getting in the way, and Jim Brown, the football star turned actor who is in many movies, could easily be seen. I can see that being left out. So take it to the bank. One of those will be snubbed.
I forgot Sizemore died.
Yeah, Sizemore died. You may forget again on Sunday.
Harsh.
Rude. Number 2 for me is best cinematography going to Oppenheimer.
Indeed.
To Hoyt von Hoytema. It's the second time that he's been nominated. He was also nominated for Dunkirk a few years ago, and he lost to Mr. Roger Deakins, who lensed Blade Runner 2049.
That's good.
Yeah, so I think if you might have noticed, Brian, all 4 of my locks have been Oppenheimer.
Indeed.
Looking at the list of best pictures, Oppenheimer is by far the most, other than maybe Killers of the Flower Moon, which has all sorts of issues. I'd say Oppenheimer is the most Academy worthy movie.
It's a World War II epic, essentially.
If it was like the late 70s, I'd say The Holdovers, because that's a movie from the late 70s.
Sure.
It really feels that way. But I mean, we got American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, which is also a very Academy movie, but it didn't quite have, didn't have what it needed.
But you know, they were dying for it to be.
I
an
know.
Academy movie.
They really wanted to do Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Oppenheimer really stands out as a shining beacon for what the Academy expects and it tends to award. So I'm 4 for 4.
And it has the benefit, the added benefit of being a huge cultural phenomenon.
Yep.
And
The
success.
movie, yes, success begets success, right? They want to feature that film highly at the ceremony, so it makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, so my number 2 is Oppenheimer winning
Good
Best
choice.
Cinematography.
I wonder if we line up on number 1, possibly because she actually has the best odds, well, worst, best, whatever, the heaviest, no pun intended, favorite
Brian.
to win an Oscar is Davine Joy Randolph.
Really?
Oh, yeah. As
I didn't
Best
know that.
Supporting Actress.
I did not know
She's
that.
a huge favorite. Also, I think
I thought it was going to be Lily Gladstone.
that's Best Lead Actress.
I know, but I thought she was going to be the heaviest favorite in the entire.
Oh, no. In fact, it's kind of close between her and Emma Stone.
Huh. Really? Because every time I hear anyone talking about Killers of the Flower Moon and how great it is, they always immediately go to her performance. Like, that's the first thing that they hang their hat
So
on.
Lily Gladstone is a slight favorite at this point, a week ahead of time, over Emma Stone. But it's close. It's closer than most of the other races.
I felt nothing.
Divine Joy Randolph?
Is it Davine? I thought it was
Davine?
Divine.
She was good in it.
Oh, I thought she was fantastic.
She was very good in it. But I mean, to be the leading
Right. Well,
of
Far
all
and away.
categories.
but that leads me into my second point, which is the other nominees are
It felt like a weaker year for
uninspiring.
that.
Yeah, America Ferrera is next from Barbie.
Oh, there it is.
Foster crushed it, not yet.
No, she
Yeah.
was like the
no,
weakest part.
Jodie Foster did not crush.
She crushed.
No,
She was good. You know who crushed? Was the Penelope.
Oh, yeah.
Penelope Cruz should have been
Fatty.
nominated in Ferrari.
for what?
She was fantastic in Ferrari.
No, the Academy agreed with
I
me.
said, fuck them.
Emily Blunt, who I
said,
honestly
fuck them.
kind of forgot was in Oppenheimer.
Emily
Yeah.
Blunt.
I remember Florence Pugh a lot more. I remember Nips.
Brian.
So it's crass. And Danielle Brooks, who I'm sure is fantastic in color purple.
You're sure? You're going to assume that?
No doubt.
All right, very good. Brian, number one for me is the aforementioned Zone of Interest. Breaking away from my Oppenheimer streak of 4 for 4. Now we got Zone of Interest winning Best Picture. No, I'm kidding. Best International Feature.
Best international.
Yeah, Brian already said do the math, and he's right. The fact that it's up for Best International as well as Best Picture, and it's a look at the Holocaust and World War II, the atrocities from an angle that has not been done before.
You know, it's funny. I remember flick fasting it and being kind of underwhelmed, but at least I can say this: it has stuck with me. That's a movie I think about more than a lot of these movies. Frankly,
I agree.
Killers of the Flower Moon. I've forgotten almost everything that happens, and whereas Zone of Interest, it sticks with you.
We just did a spoiler. I don't know, it was like 8 minutes, 9 minutes on
Something like that,
on Dune, and I had forgotten a very major point that happened at the end of the movie because I really did not I didn't care as much. Like the end of Robot Dreams, I will never forget how that ended. A very, very big, pivotal thing happens at the end of Dune. It was already forgotten by this dumbass over here. So, I mean, that says something.
The Emperor's ship at the end. Tight.
There's some tight
pyramid?
ships.
Pretty good.
Some tight ships.
Pretty good.
I'll give you that. There's some tight ships. Where do these people, like, I didn't even see a lunchroom. Like, where do all these soldiers get together
The
to,
infrastructure alone.
and how do they pee? Like, how do they take off their suits to pee?
They don't. They pee and you drink the pee.
And
They
you drink
explain
the
that
pee?
in the first one. Yeah.
Did they? Is that true? Is that a real
Yes.
thing? What?
It conserves all the
I
water.
don't like this world he built. It's impressive, but I don't like it.
That's why he gets mad when you're crying because you're wasting the water.
Don't
waste your
waste
water.
the water on the dead. It's okay. It's a lot of souls in there. Maybe I was thinking about if she just cannonballed, like how that would go over. Imagine that. Everything that's just to explain to you about this pool of water you're staring at, and she just goes cannonball.
She goes, YOLO. All right. Andy's got to
That would
go.
be
So
so
I
let's-
need that listener art.
What do we got to wrap up?
Are we
with?
gambling or we're not gambling?
We got
No,
a top five?
we're paying off. We do have a top 5. This was a tougher one for Goose to step in
Yeah,
for the
sorry,
first time.
Goose. It's a tough one to start with.
But it only gets easier from here.
I was going to say next week should be easy.
So there weren't a ton of responses, but there were a couple votes. We had Cillian Murphy, Best Actor,
Kill him.
Nolan, Best Director, and Barbie for Best Adapted.
What?
And then the
That's actually not a sure thing. That and I think it's American Fiction.
American
One of
Fiction
those-
should win.
I don't know if it's adapted or original. I forget. I
It's
think
adapted. It's adapted.
Yeah.
Give me Barbie. Give me Barbie. And then Devine Joy Randolph for Best Supporting Actress. Non-award predictions. This is where we get a lot of the meat. Brian will predict that someone will be left off the in memoriam list.
Done.
Will Smith will slap someone.
Nope.
Jimmy Kimmel will make a "Don't slap me" joke in less than the first 3 jokes.
Is he hosting?
He is, and he already did that last year. He said they made jokes about Will Smith, so I could see that not being a thing.
Ryan Gosling will take his shirt off for the performance of "I'm Just Ken."
That'd be something.
Someone makes a Dune popcorn bucket joke.
I bet they do.
There'll be protesters inside and outside.
Oh, I like the idea of inside disruptors.
What? I'm sorry. What is the popcorn bucket, Joe?
The Dune popcorn bucket.
They sell like they were selling hats for Willy Wonka. Like you can eat your popcorn out of a Willy Wonka hat, and there's like a Dune buckets as well.
Oh.
Hey, we
It
didn't
looks,
talk.
it looks reminiscent of a flashlight.
Oh,
And people are making that.
It's warm. It's
Is
warm.
it a sandworm?
Because there's no real conceivable way you'd imagine getting popcorn out of that
oh my
easily.
god, what are you supposed to do with that?
Fuck it. I mean, pretty good hobby.
Very clear.
Sorry, I don't know.
What else?
Very clear. And then lastly, men will wear dresses and someone will use their platform to spew political nonsense.
That is a sure thing.
I
That's
don't
a
see men
safe
wearing
bet.
dresses.
Remember when
Do you?
Matt and Trey did from South Park?
Jim
That
Rash.
was literally 20 years ago.
I think
Jim
Kurt
Rash
Cobain,
is more recent.
Jim Rash
It was
looked
like
very good.
2011 or
I love
something.
that Jim Rash.
He's great.
Hey,
You named 2 instances
we didn't
over the last 25 years.
we didn't talk the new AMC spot.
Oh my
It
God.
wasn't there for me.
It was there for me.
I booed and I got big laughs.
Yeah,
I got big laughs in the IMAX.
Avery, he's gonna put that as real.
Big laughs in the
You could
IMAX.
go back and try. You could be seeing movies all day, every day, just sitting in trying to get laughs for that.
That's good.
He's like, I saw like 9 movies today, just sitting and waiting. So yeah, we have a new Coca-Cola ad, which is just fucking cringe.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna watch
that
that
didn't
30
like, I
more
saw
times, And Brian, if you saw that, then you saw the new.
That's the one I booed. Was
Awful.
the Coca-Cola ad.
It's fucking
I'm
terrible.
telling
They do
you,
like
I
a
saw
Fast and the
Coca-Cola,
Furious.
I didn't see new Kidman.
Kidman
I saw cut
is-
down to Kidman.
It's cut down and it's different.
Oh, it is?
I don't think you were paying
But
attention.
it's not really different. It's
She has a new
thought
tagline at the end.
Oh, it was close enough. I thought it was the same thing.
It's similar, but they had like Avatar.
avatars in there.
Oh,
You
I
didn't
see, I
notice?
didn't see that.
Are you
No,
sure?
No.
'Cause she
I would-
steps
I
in the
would have
puddle.
noticed there was a new movie.
She walks into
But
my
it's
theater,
quick.
and then she talks about going places we've never been, and we say
Shit.
Avatar, and
The
then
Avatar. We've been there.
I know the first one is fucking Jurassic Park, Lost World. It's like we've all been there. Why? How? Who
I've
makes
been
these
to
decisions?
Pandora. I've been to Pandora.
Do you remember what she says? You're really good at recalling things. Like
No,
the
it was
last thing
so
she- it's
forgettable.
we're all gonna remember it forever, pretty soon. Like by end
was
of
so
summer,
forgettable, I don't
It'll be
remember.
playing in our head when we're trying to sleep because we're gonna
That's
see it
it.
so many times.
That's going to be on my vault.
She says, "My life is with people." I would love that.
I can't even remember what the other movies, but it's all like a whole new slate of movies that they're jamming in there now. Yeah,
Painful.
no good.
Oh, you got to go in a minute and a half, so let's gamble. You got
All right, it's gonna.
Wait, what did she say?
I can't remember.
Oh, you
I
don't
was
remember.
asking you. You saw it. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was bad. Last week we gambled on Dune Part 2. Anderson guessed 92, Bryan 83, foolish, with 333 reviews.
It might
Actual
be
score,
Is it 92?
93.
Ooh,
Well, it might be. Well, let's see. It might be
I was gonna
updated
say,
now.
Refresh that shit.
Dune Part 2. Nope, 93.
All right.
Close, but no cigar.
Nice job.
Making Anderson the winner.
All right, let's gamble on. Well, is there a movie?
Or we're
coming?
not, because it's the Oscar
We
thing,
can't
isn't
pay
it?
off for the, we can't watch. We can't gamble.
I mean, you can, but don't you normally gamble on who wins the Oscar pool?
Yes, our pool. Okay.
I mean, unless you want to gamble on
no,
Kung Fu
no,
Panda
no,
4.
No. We will make our picks off the air and reveal the winner for next week's gambling.
On YouTube, there's a shot-by-shot analysis of Nicole Kidman's AMC commercial.
I'm sure there is.
That's actually really good.
All right, what are we doing?
And you know they
I'm-
tried so hard
I'm
to
giving out thanks.
capture it.
Loadedforbeardoc.com is where you go if you would like to be a part of this amazing documentary that we're working on, and that's slowed down because we need funding, as well as have your name associated with a short, which is getting close to being cemented. So I want to be able to add your name to the credits of the short until never, because once it's done, it's done. So we're probably
cement
a few
is
weeks-
dried.
The cement will be be out of the kiln, as they say. So if you'd like your name to be associated with both. Please do go over to loadedforbeardoc.com, and even just a couple bucks helps.
And Comedy Confessional this Friday, as you hear
Right.
it tomorrow. It's March 8th at
Friends.
Confess Comedy on Instagram. Grab those tickets; it'll be fun.
Yeah, good times. Santa Monica, the Crow.
Yes, at the Crow, and they got their booze license. You can get your
Oh,
little
yes.
beer, little
They're
You're allowed to
wine.
boo finally?
Oh yeah,
The
Just
boo
what they
license?
need.
you can get you
Oh,
get
you said booze.
booze.
I
You
thought they
can
got a
boo whatever
license.
you
Yeah, you can
want.
get hammered and boo me live if you hate me.
Avery's
so.
been doing that at the AMC's. See AMC. I see
Yeah.
Avery, your
Go
local
see a
AMC, booing after the Coke commercial.
Big hit. That and I boo IMAX. I boo the IMAX joke,
Do you?
which is terrible. Where they're doing all that bullshit of like, oh, this is True Black, this, and that, and then
Oh,
they
I
get,
hate that.
and then
That's
it goes
Dolby.
away.
It's not-
Okay, then it's
it's
Dolby.
Prime, I think. Prime.
And then it comes back up, and they go, yes, the screen is still on.
Oh, I hate it so
I
much.
boo
I hate
that every time, and
Yeah.
it gets a response because it's
Does it?
terrible. They should know that this is bad.
I do it much
Stop
more
it.
subtle. I usually slap my knee like I'm laughing so hard you can't hear. I fucking
No,
hate that
start to
stupid
boo.
joke.
They need to know it's terrible.
Yes, the projector's still on.
We're starting an uprising. That's boo.
It's a pretty impressive.
Yes,
you know.
it speaks for itself.
And then they do.
And then they went, yeah, we're fucking pretty good, right? Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Out!
I'm trying to bring this home for you, buddy. Thanks to Nicholas Doivetter. Am I pronouncing that right? Doivetter?
He told me the way
Any
to
better?
pronounce it, but he really likes when you guys fuck it up. It
All
amuses
right.
him.
Thanks, Nick. Good listener art this week. Enjoyable. Check it out over at our social medias or our website, andersonandbryan.com. That's where you can go for all your film vault needs. If you want to do a little shopping on Amazon, just hit that link first, and that costs you nothing, and it helps us out. Thanks, Sean Russell, for being a featured artist this week. What was that? Thanks for our featured artist this week. Check him out over at andersonandbryan.com. For more info on him, Instagram, TikTok, Anderson and Bryan, The Film Vaults on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube, The Film Vault Podcast. We have new content over on our Patreon. Boy, spoiler, if you want extended spoiler thoughts on Dune, check it out over on patreon.com/The Film Vault.
We do a lot of more complaining just to let everyone know.
I think they could gather that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we really turned the corner in that.
If you're on the fence and you like spectacle, absolutely see this. You probably already have, but if you're wondering if it's worth your 2 hours 45 minutes and you're a few bucks, it's absolutely worth it. See it in at least at the Dolby Atmos theater or a Prime or an IMAX. Like, see this thing for the spectacle that it is. Felt the same way with Blade Runner 2049.
Don't cheat yourself and see it on the small screen.
This guy he and Nolan make incredible films. I just don't usually care about the characters at all. And I mean, I think that's glaring, and I can't be alone in that.
I will be back next week proclaiming this as a 5-star film.
Okay. You gonna go back and watch it and weep when he makes wrong decisions? No, don't do it. All right.
All right, thanks, Gio. Thanks, Drake. Thanks, Mike Cole. Thanks, Goose and Eric Kath. Appreciate all your help, especially now that we have to replace the irreplaceable Mitch. Appreciate you guys and all you do. Until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.